Hey, my creative friends. I'm Shannon from Shannon's Studio, and we're here tonight to talk about creativity and all of its many facets to help ourselves to have a more creative life. I totally believe, and research bears this out, that living a creative life just benefits you across the board in your well-being. Just does. And just from personal experience, it has totally helped my life for years and years and years. And particularly if, from my perspective, being a mom, being a stay-at-home mom, I think you shouldn't go through a day without having creativity. And so that's why all these videos, talking about creativity, pushing that perspective for you to look at so that you can weigh it in your mind and see how it plays out. So tonight, I'm kind of excited about this topic tonight. And it is something, we're going to talk about a happiness set point, because I have believed in this for years. That every time, like my first video when it came out, the first one was choose to be happy. And when sometimes one of my daughters made, hey Trisha, it is your birthday today. Happy birthday. Trisha celebrates all month long, but then today is the official day. We're going to talk about happiness set point today, Trisha, just for your birthday. Invariably, whenever we talk about the happiness, choose to be happy, that was a phrase my oldest daughter, Layla, used all the time, and she got that from Alan, my husband. And so every time that something's said or brought up in that, invariably, people get online and say, you can't be happy all the time. It's not possible, and et cetera, et cetera. And they kind of down that idea. And I've always thought, I agree with that. You can't be happy all the time. That's not the point of choosing to be happy to me. And that's where my idea of happiness set point came from, because it's not happiness all the time. It's when things happen, you go back to that happiness set point. So in talking about this, one of my son Wade messaged me. My kids message me, call me. It's so funny. And I do this every night, you think. Anyways, so what was I saying? Okay. So, set point. So you get back. So I always felt like, you get back to the set point. I did not know, and researching this, I did not know that a set point theory of happiness is a real thing. I didn't know it was a real thing already. I didn't make it up, even though I thought, that's really kind of good. The happiness set point, that makes sense. Somebody else already thought of that, but I totally believe it, even before I knew it was a thing. So the happiness set point it's made up of several things. 50% of it, up to 50% of it, is hereditary, genetics, what you come with. And so you're either some people have a high happiness set point where they're just automatically going to be that. Things may happen during their life, it brings them way low or way high, but then they gravitate back toward their happier high side of happiness. Then there's others who are a low point of the happiness set point. So great things can happen, but they're going to revert right back down to this lower level. And as I thought about the people who would make comments, and some of them I know personally, I think, that's right, because their view is really a lesser happiness. And so their automatic response is that you are low. They have a low set point, so their worldview is a low set point of happiness. Hey, Carrie. So that makes total sense. Okay, so I said 50%, up to 50% is genetic, 10% is external. So for instance, it's not external to make it higher, it's external to make it lower. So something in that 10% can be successive job losses, where you continually lose your job, or the death of a child. Those things can permanently lower your set point. And really that's kind of the first video that I talked about that I've done, Choose to Be Happy. That's kind of where it was going for me, I think. But then because of the other 40% where it's intentional activity can change how your set point is. And that's inside work. It's not anything that somebody can go, there's no happiness fairy out there running around and wanding you with her wand to say you're happier now. It's all internal work. So, and it can change. So first off, the thing is, why even bother? If you feel happy enough, why even bother? So there's several things, and I didn't even list all the things. There's just a few things. You being a positive person affects other people in positive ways. And if we had a bunch of positive people that affect you and your family, then that starts to make a happy family. If you have a lot of people, friends that you're around, that means your social circle is happier. And then that extends into, if you have a lot of social circles then that are happier, you all of a sudden have a community that's happier. So the effect can go on. And isn't that a great reason to move your set point a little bit toward more happiness? To me, that is huge. Second, you want to promote goodwill. Doesn't our world need a little more goodwill? And all those kinds of things, when we say creativity is contagious, like I did a video that just on that title, I don't remember the number, it is. Just like negativity can be effective, it can affect other people, your happiness can affect other people. Here's another reason why. It generates feeling of self-acceptance. You accept yourself the way you are, even when working on other things, but then you accept others as well. And it generates feelings of appreciation and openness. And openness is one of those things that is required for creativity. You need to be open to experiences. So so it's very tied to creativity. All through this that I'm going to talk about tonight is very tied to creativity, happiness. And then another one is unhappy people compare a lot, whereas happy people don't. And we all know what comparing does. And the interesting thing is that when the unhappy people compare, they often have to have somebody else fail. They have to have somebody else fail in their comparison to make themselves feel better. And happy people don't need that. And when you need somebody to fail, that puts you in a whole different frame of mind and in how you interact with people. So those are just a few of the reasons why. I didn't even go into all of them, but I thought those were some really, really good outcomes. So, and they also talked about that money or accumulating wealth, marriage and employment, career advancement sort of thing did not make and build more happiness. Those aren't the things that do it. But there's several things that do it. And one of the biggest ones, which I think is so interesting given the religion I am and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we are a church of service to others. Always serving, seeing what can help. And it says helping others is a huge way to change your fixed set point to permanently higher. But you can't serve and do things. In fact, we call it compassionate service in my church, and a lot of times in this article, one article I'm reading, they called it compassionate action. And helping others is a way to move that needle of the set point a little higher. But it can't, like I said, but I started to say it can't be forced. You can't be forced to do it because then it's like, nope, doesn't count. So you need to be doing it of your own free will, of your choices. So another way to do it is to make it fun. If it's fun, you're going to do it. So free will and fun all of a sudden makes the situation, oh, I want to help that person. And another thing that you can do moving that happiness set point up is creating value for others. And it was really interesting because I really dreaded doing these videos. It's just not, I wasn't raised, I mean, my generation wasn't raised this way where we had videos, we're taking videos all the time. We weren't, that wasn't my life. So for me to get over that hump of videos, young people don't understand that. Trisha's the same age as I am. She might understand that. And so, but what was happening with these videos is that afterwards I would be like pumped that I was, talking about this. And then I also felt happy. I remember telling Jesse, I'm just really happy about these. And I was like, where did that come from? Because that's not, when I got on the road of doing these videos, that was not where I was at or thought I would go. And so, reading this made me think, creating value for others. I really feel like I am giving you value. I feel like I am doing, taking my experience and trying to help show that this really is a good way to live. Tricia says, I agree about comparing. It's a delay here. Obviously, I'm in Sweden and some of you are in the States. But Tricia says, I agree about comparing. I never compare. I just appreciate others have different talents than I have. Absolutely. And Tricia, I know her personally, she's a happy person. She is happy, very self-confident. She's also she helps others in a big way. I've seen her write to people once a week for several years or a couple of years at a time, lots of people. I've seen her, she tunes into this video to help me just to be a friend. I mean, she's doing things all the time and it shows in the person that she is. I can't say that about everybody because I don't know everybody, but that's the case. Oh, Carrie, I know Carrie, she's watching tonight. Her and her mom doing service for me to do the quilts and stuff when I needed help and I needed good people talented people to help me do the thing. And they were just happy to help and eager to help and making it happen and, turning around things in a day. And I just and just exuding happiness while they do it. I mean, some of these things are good that I'm telling you and they're optional, but some of these things that I share, they're really not optional. If you want a certain lifestyle, if you want to be a certain person, then these kinds of things, this would be one of those things that is not optional. If you have a naturally low happiness set point, it would be beneficial to you to raise that set point. So one of the ways is service to others, creating value for others. Some of the other things, focus on solutions instead of problems. And going through this, there were several things that you could do that I've done videos on. So just go back and watch those videos. So video 12, creativity cultivates problem solvers. When you will help you focus, creativity helps you become a problem solver. And then if you can focus on solutions, it's like this little thing that feeds on each other. In a good way. Don't believe every negative thought. I did video 50 that talks about a negativity loop. Check that out. Develop positive, optimistic style thoughts. So be an optimist compared to a pessimist. And optimism also can be learned. I mean, these things we are such beings that we can change our makeup. I mean, we can change who we are. Practice gratitude. On video 11, acknowledge that it's good. Take care of your body. Video 15, know your own sleep needs. Healthy relationships, random acts of kindness. These things that you can do. So here's a quote from, I'm not sure her name now, Linda Gabriel, I think. The good news is that your set point can be changed. It can be raised by engaging repetitive practices, internalized, and in doing so, create a new norm. So I am thinking, you know, I think I have a pretty good happy set point. But I am finding being here and having some of the things, you know, my lifestyle change has raised it. And I don't know, because it's repetitive, like the videos, they're repetitive. They happen every day for 77 days now. That affects, and I'm wondering why I feel very, very happy here. And so I'm looking at this happiness set point. I'm looking at some of these things and thinking, is that what? Because I feel happy and I just don't understand why I feel happier. But reading, you know, after studying this a little bit, I'm going, oh, now I can see why. And people want to be around you. You will have an influence for good on people because they want. That's like I've told you about my aunt before. She was happy all the time, wake up happy every day. I gravitated toward her. I wanted to be around her. Carrie says, I have depression. When it gets bad, I help other people and I feel better. Right there. I mean, that's the personal experience of the research. There's research to bear this out. And then we have personal experiences like Carrie's who just out and out say, I have depression, it gets bad, I start to help others. And you have helped me, Carrie. You know you have, and I've appreciated. Tricia says, because you are inviting us all along with you. Yes, I'm having a good time with these. And that is a very surprising outcome for me. Okay, so let's look at my notes here. Yes. So the challenge is to raise your happiness set point. I think creativity and happiness are so tied together. That's why I keep promoting it, because as a mom, and especially to moms and stay-at-home moms and women, our lifestyles, so much is out of our control. A friend was over this morning and we were talking business things, and we were talking about the fact that stay-at-home moms, we don't have control. I mean, Joseph was sick for 2 days. I had to cancel all my plans. You know, she has 3 kids right now. I've had 8 kids. Your life is not your own. You can't control that. So you have to be really, give everything you can to yourself to be able to make yourself in a happier state, to feed yourself. And that's what creativity did for me. Creativity has fed me in a way that I think is so beneficial, and the research plays it out that we need this, women. We need this. And happiness is tied to that. Like I showed, and I declined my daughter's phone call. Like I said, they call me. My daughter called me just now. So that's your tip. Recognize where your happiness set point is and do the things to raise it. And be surprised. I'm surprised. I am really surprised. And this right here, there's a quote, and I can't say the guy's name. I am sorry. Nichiren Daishonin, butchered that. If one lights a fire for others, one will brighten one's own way. True. So, remember, share more thoughts about what you have seen about happiness and the set point, and any insights that you've had from this or on your own studies and reading, and share it with us. And yes, remember, you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it. And I will be back tomorrow. And thanks, Tricia and Carrie. We will see you later. Bye.